I'm torn between wanting to talk about the fact that I'm dog sitting, the Spain surprise. Like, there's so many things I want to talk about.
I know. I was like, we can't talk about the Spain surprise, but then we can, because by the time this podcast
we
is
totally
released,
can.
So we're doing this podcast record a day early because I have decided to jump on a plane and go to Spain to surprise Flower Man, which is I am so excited. Like, I love surprises.
You do love a surprise, don't you?
Oh, hey. And I'll be the one that's
I reckon he'll be emotional. No, he was stoked because you've been so busy lately. You know, when someone's just like making zero time for you, that's been Victoria to everyone in her life.
Last night at dinner, Sophie was like, you would be horrible to date. I was like, I know, I would be.
She literally got up. We weren't even finished. And she was like, I'm going to head home. I was like, what? I was like, our friend still got a glass of wine. And she's like, gotta go. I was like, oh my God, that is so you to a T. She would have been like, I've got to be efficient because I've got to do X, Y, Z.
Boundaries.
Got up and left.
You know? Boundaries.
Yeah, but like my boundary was also tired, you know? Just left me out there to fucking fend for myself.
Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. I can hold my own at a dinner. Don't worry about it.
I used to always do that, like invite everyone back to my house, like after at a bar. Be like, everyone back to mine, and then
go to bed.
I'd be like, okay, night, and everyone's like, what the hell? Or my friends started cottoning on. They're like, okay, we'll come back to yours as long as you don't go to sleep. I'm like, I promise I won't stay up like 10 minutes.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited. I'm excited for Spain. It means because Vic's going to Spain, I'm dog sitting. So Miso is sitting on the bed. Honestly, I love being a dog owner. I've just decided, maybe I want a dog.
We could just have joint custody. It's fine.
She's actually already dribbled on my duvet cover is the only thing.
Dribbled?
Does she do that normally? Yeah, she's like left a wet patch. Anyway, we're going to have the best time while you're escaping around the Spain sun. Me and your daughter will be having
Spanish tapas.
Oh, great. So happy for you.
I can't wait to update everyone on how the surprise goes.
Can you film it actually?
Yeah.
Oh my God, can someone film it?
Yeah. Although, you know, when you start doing a lot of surprises, people start expecting a surprise.
Yeah,
I think I'm falling into
already
that
done
camp.
a few, haven't you?
Yeah.
Vic the other night was like, I can't come over tonight. And she's like, surprise, in his bed. Like that actually happened. That's a true story.
Yeah, that is a true story.
So funny.
Also, I just assume that he wants me there. You know, like what if he's just
imagine if you're late.
wanting a really nice, relaxing weekend away, and I'm like, hi, I'm here.
And the funniest part about the bed incident, the recent surprise, is that she wasn't even in like sexy lingerie to be like, let's have sex. She was like, I've got my period and I'm in pajamas and I'm going to bed, but like, surprise. You know, like it sounds really cute and sexy. I surprised
and
him
romantic,
in bed, but it was just not that.
Hey, but you know,
Anyway.
he appreciates me nonetheless. You know,
Does he listen to this podcast? Can we fact check that?
I don't know. Probably. Anyway, but I will update you all on the Spain surprise.
Yes, okay, great. Can't wait.
I just feel like the plane's going to get cancelled or the train's not going to work.
It would
or
be your
something.
luck, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I just feel like every flight in London that I've got has been delayed or cancelled or, you know, like
Yeah.
the reliability.
But did you book EasyJet or something?
No, I've learned that
Because
lesson.
I do think that's so much worse. Like I was coming back from Morocco a couple of weeks ago and we were all boarded through the security, literally on the tarmac, ready to get on the plane, and they told us it was 2 hours delayed, and we had to go. Oh, the whole thing was just such a schmozzle, and it happens
I reckon
all
if
the
I
time,
had
doesn't
$1 for every time you had a plane
meltdown.
fuck up,
Yeah, no, it's so bad.
you know, I would be a
I just need supervision. I need supervision. I cannot be trusted really in getting myself from A to B. It's just there's something always goes wrong, doesn't it?
I remember we had a meeting, was it last year? And it was like, you just didn't show up. And I was like, oh gosh. And I was texting you, I was calling you, and there was like no comms. And I was like, this is really weird. And then a few hours later, and I got angry within this phase. I was like, worried, then
I'm not
frustrated,
surprised.
angry. Then I was like, and then I got a text being like, sorry, my plane took off from Morocco, nearly landed in London, got sent back to Morocco. And I was like, if this was anyone else, I'd be like, bullshit. But I was like, Yeah. Yep. It probably definitely happened to you. Yes. Yeah.
Not the luckiest, I would
Could
say.
be a whole nother podcast, you know?
Yeah. In fact, let's not bore everyone with my boring travel stories. I'm going to put in the notes, skip to, and then put the time code so that anyone that's like, shut up, they can just
give
get
me the finance stuff.
chat.
Yes, the finance chat. So speaking of travel, I kind of wanted to start by talking about currencies because we don't actually ever talk about them, or we haven't spoken about them in much detail, and they have a big impact on stocks and countries and, you know, where we spend our money, where we travel, all of that kind of stuff. So firstly, a good way to think about it is that countries are like stocks. You know, if more people are demanding a stock or going to a country or using a country's products, buying a country's products, that pushes the price up. So it's like with anything, if there's increase in demand, then there's increase in prices of stocks or an increase in a country's currency. So it's effectively a good way to think about currencies is like the price of a country. So if a currency is really, really strong and really high, that means there's been a lot of demand, and that means that country's doing really well.
So would an example be that London is super expensive and it's because so many people want to live here, which continues to drive the price up?
Yeah, I mean, there's inflation under that, but I'm meaning like if you look at currencies, you always have to look at currencies in relation to other currencies. So yes, so if the pound was really, really weak, it would be probably because the economy's doing really shit, or there's just like less demand for the pound from other countries. But yes, that is essentially it. Like the US has one of the strongest currencies in the world, and that is all because of it's one of the biggest.
Is that to do with exports and products and stuff though? Or is it to do with people and spending and living in a country? Like
a combination of everything. But yes, if your currency is, say, less attractive and therefore really, really cheap, then that's really good for exports because it means a lot of other countries are like, oh, you know, the price of New Zealand goods or the price of Japanese goods are looking really, really cheap right now. I can buy more of them for the same price, if that makes sense. Does that kind of make sense?
Yes, it does. No, it does. Yes. Sorry, there's a fly got really trapped in my room and it's so annoying and loud. I'm trying to concentrate.
Yeah. So I guess what I'm getting at is that say you went on a holiday to Japan 10 years ago and their currency was really, really high. What you could purchase would be a lot less than if you went now when their currency is really weak. And so probably a bad example because Japan's currency has been weak for a while. What I'm getting at, and it is that Louis Vuitton, Moet Hennessy, so LVMH, which we've spoken about before on the podcast, so they own like 75 brands from like Louis Vuitton to Dom Perignon to a ton of luxury brands. Anyway, they had a really good result and they showed that this was all around Chinese shoppers buying products in Japan because the currency is weak. So you could buy a Louis Vuitton handbag, for example, for a much cheaper price in Japan because the currency is weak. So what you would spend can kind of go further. Oh my gosh,
okay. Thank you for using a interesting example.
Yes.
So, and
sorry, that was a very long-winded introduction to what I was trying to get at.
But it's basically the idea that if you buy a product in a currency that's doing badly, you're kind of getting it cheaper.
Yes, yeah. So it's like, kind of? And currencies swing around and roundabouts. Like there's economic cycles. So some currencies will do really well and then things will be more expensive there. And then things will be cheaper when the economy is not doing too well. So yes, it is like a stock price. Like you're getting the same products or the same experience sometimes, but at a cheaper price. Anyway, this one might make more sense. Doc Martens.
Yes.
So Doc Martens, actually their ticker, which is like their identifier.
Where are you recording this podcast?
London.
There's so many like alarms and fire engines and stuff. Side note.
Welcome to my new flat. Honestly,
is it really loud?
It is so loud. But I kind of got used to it. I'm like, it's just London.
Oh yeah,
oh my God,
I would hate
police.
that.
Oh, there's a screaming psycho person.
Holy shit! Like Vic and I were walking. We got kicked off a bus the other day we were on our way to a meeting and they're like, sorry, we can't go right down Hackney. And then we got off and we were walking down the street. Someone had been stabbed and we were just wandering down. Everyone was just acting normal. We took a few side streets. Like, it was honestly, I was like, if this was in New Zealand, can you imagine? I'd be like, batten down the hatches inside.
Run. Whereas we were just like,
it's like another day in London.
Yeah.
Doc Martens, do you wear them? I feel like you're...
No, you do.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware of my shoe collection, but I was wondering if you've ever dabbled, because I'm a big fan, but I feel like I've never seen you in one.
No, I wanted to. I tried them on. They're just so uncomfortable. Like,
oh, cry me a river. You wear the most uncomfortable heels ever.
Heels? Yeah. Doc Martens doesn't do heels.
No, that's what I mean though. But like, you can put up with uncomfortable heels. Why would you not push through the Doc Martens?
Yes, but I'm not walking around heels all day. You know, like if I want to wear Docs, I'm like walking around all day and I don't want to get like blisters from like thick leather. Anyway, it seems like a whole lot of other people agree with me because
has it gone down?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Their US sales were down 30%.
Shit.
And their share price is down 85% since, like it peaked in 2021 and now it's down 85% since then.
That's
so
really
it's all because
bad.
They're just not selling enough shoes. So it's the sole issue.
No, Victoria.
No, she didn't.
Wrap that one up. I cannot believe you just said that. Did you plan that? You did.
I know.
You wrote it down and you thought this is a winner.
It's actually in my notes. Yeah. With a big lol next to it. Anyway, they went into, so this is actually a British company. Well, it started by a German family and it's a British company. And they started in the 1950s and they used to sell shoes for £2 a pair. So used to be super cheap.
£2?
And they're like a working man's shoe. Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, they put out a statement last week. They have gone into what we call a trading halt. Now, if you're invested in a company and you see an alert come up or you see a headline or you're like, hang on, the share price hasn't moved and it's gone into a trading halt, this can be either good news or bad news. And what a trading halt is that there's a rule in investing that you cannot trade on, it is illegal to trade on material, non-public information. So this is why companies report financial results.
That would be like, what would it be like? It's like, is this like insider trading kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why CFOs, so like chief financial officers, they have super strict rules about when they can trade if shares in their own company, because they're privy to like so much information that's like, they could be like, oh gosh, sales are through the roof. I'm going to buy shares in my own company. You know, like that's super illegal. And so their window and usually anyone in a position of seniority, like a CEO or a CFO, they can only buy shares straight after everyone else has seen the information or sell shares. So that's why every quarter companies release financial results so that because they're material and they do it in a really public way. So they'll put it on their website, they'll send it to Bloomberg, they'll do all this stuff so it's public and then anyone can trade on the information. So yes, this is insider trading. If you had material information that was not public and you traded on it, that is illegal. So Doc Martens has gone into a trading halt because it's got material information that it hasn't made public yet. So this can either be good material information or bad. And usually when a share price has fallen about 85%,
it's probably bad news.
It's probably more bad news. But anyway, like I remember owning companies in the portfolio and...
Wait, I'm sorry. Can we just pause for 1 second? So just to reiterate, a trading halt is they've stopped producing or selling because they've got a big announcement.
Yeah. No, they've stopped any trading, any buying or selling of shares.
Oh, of shares.
So they literally...
Oh my God, sorry. I was like, what? People can't buy Doc Martens? You've got to be...
It only lasts like a day or, yeah. max like 3 days. That's pretty
Well,
rare.
this sounds like
but
quite exciting, really. I'm almost like,
Yeah.
oh, wait, so I can't buy shares right now because I was thinking if it is potentially bad news, I'd be willing to, just chuck a $10, see what happens.
So they've got a new CEO who is an ex-Apple senior director. So
no pressure. Imagine that. You'd be like, oh, brilliant. Now it's totally up to me to turn this entire company around. Like, how stressful.
Yeah. I guess that's why people will be like, oh, well, he looks good, so I'll buy shares. Some people might be like, nah, he actually doesn't have what it takes to turn around a business. So this is the kind of decisions you're making.
Brutal. Imagine reading comments about, because the thing is, like, being like Ariana Grande, for example, whatever. People write whatever they want online. But imagine if they were like, oh no, this person's absolutely stupid. He doesn't know what he's doing. Or she's like, you kind of don't, you think more of like public figures or people talking shit about you as strangers. It would only be like famous people. But I guess in the realm of CEOs, it would be. Everyone would talk about you. It would be like, how weird.
Oh, and if you don't do a good job at a company,
your reputation,
investors are going to be like, absolutely not.
Oh my God.
The worst thing I think would be if you joined a company, say I joined as the CEO of Apple. Amazing. Lol. And there's a big announcement that Victoria Harris is the new CEO
I'd be selling my shares ASAP.
Exactly. And the share price goes down. You're like, oh.
Got it.
You're like, okay, obviously no one believes in me.
Oh my God.
And vice versa. If you were like, and Victoria has had a great tenure as CEO of Apple and now she's leaving, and then the share price goes up, you'd be like, oh, okay, obviously no one likes me in my role.
Oh my God. It's just like another level of vulnerability I don't know if I'm ready for.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll wait and see what happens with Doc Martens.
When I used to be in blah, 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 and I interrupted you.
Oh, yes. When I was a portfolio manager and you'd have, you'd come in and you'd look at your portfolio and you'd sit there and you'd be like, oh, the announcements start coming through during the day. Like some of them are like not that interesting and others are quite material. And then, every now and then one would go into a trading halt and you'd be like, oh gosh, what's happening? Oh my gosh. And then you go and you'd talk to people and you'd be like, oh God, what could it be? Or it could be this, it could be that. And then honestly, it's like, it's quite scary. And then sometimes you're like, woohoo, they've been acquired, or like, which is amazing because then the share price shoots up. Or I don't know, maybe the CEO's leaving and then it comes out of trading halt and everyone sells because they're like, oh gosh,
so
they were a great
like
CEO.
Gossip in the fight in the office? You're like, oh my God, Tesco's in a trading halt, and everyone's like chatting about it.
And everyone's like, what could it be? Yeah.
Oh my
and everyone tries to speculate.
That's so funny.
It's so fun.
You miss it a bit, don't you?
A little bit.
Being out there on the market trading.
Yeah. Just be on the edge of your seat, being like, oh, what is the trading halt going to be? In other news, Samsonite. There's been a bit of news around Samsonite. So, the luggage company?
Yes. I've actually got a Samsonite.
Yeah. Do you?
It's broken though.
Yes.
So I'm not sure if that's like a sign of me always trying to squeeze too much into it or faulty product. I think it's that one. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Buying the cheapest airfare and then like wearing, it's like Joey off Friends wearing like 1 million layers of clothing.
I saw this meme the other day and it was like this guy dancing. It was like me trying to distract.
So that means that the public can buy shares ever since 2011. The shitty thing is that the Hong Kong Stock Exchange has done really, really badly. It's one of the worst performing major stock markets in the last 12 months.
And is that because of the whole China creeping in on them?
China.
Yeah.
And losing their kind of independence, and their economy's done terribly. There's a property crisis,
Not
a huge
looking good.
high unemployment, like all of that. Yeah. So a private equity company was like, hey, we see a lot of value in Samsonite that isn't being recognised by it being a public company because of all those factors around the Hong Kong Stock Exchange.
Yeah, fair.
We're going to try and take it private.
Ooh.
And then they couldn't really agree on a value that would be attractive enough for public investors because they need to give a price that is well above what it's trading at publicly to make it, to incentivize current investors to sell. Like if I'm sitting there with a Samsonite share, say for $1, and you come along and want to buy all my shares, Soph, and you offer me $1.10,
Tell me to
I'm
jog
probably going to be
on.
like, yeah, I'd be like, actually,
Don't
no,
worry
it was
about
$1.10 like not that long ago. But if you offered me $2, I'd be like, shit, yeah. So you've got to, but then they've still got to see value. And if they're buying the company at a $2 share price, they need to see value beyond that because they're buying it, taking it private, and then making changes to make it a better and a bigger and improved company. So anyway, they couldn't see that. So the solution that looks like Samsonite's going to do is dual list, which means that it's listing on another stock exchange so that it creates more demand. And that is a way that value can be realized in a company. So it's like, I think we spoke a wee while ago about how Shell might leave the London Stock Exchange and how that's bad. And and this is kind of the opposite. It's like, okay, you've got a company that is on a stock exchange that's not doing too well. So it's not reflective of how well the company's doing because the stock exchange is just not doing well and no one wants to invest in the Hong Kong Stock Exchange at the moment. So they're like, let's dual list to another stock exchange, like the London Stock Exchange, for example, or, the New York Stock Exchange. And then we'll hopefully get a big influx of demand, which will boost up the value of the company.
But is it problematic for like the Hong Kong economy in general? If people start pulling out of their stock market, isn't that like kind of scary?
Yeah, definitely. And there's another company, L'Occitane.
Oh, yeah.
You know that like
is it a skin
hand
brand?
cream? Yeah. So they've been taken off the Hong Kong Stock Exchange for similar reasons, but they were taken private as well. So that's another company that's gone.
It's like they're jumping off a sinking ship kind of thing.
Yeah. And then from an investor, it's like, oh, well, if there's all these companies going, there's actually not much else for me to invest in the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. So I'm not going to invest in any of the remaining companies that are on there. Like it's kind of this like whole cycle. So it is a thing to be aware of. But usually a stock exchange is a reflection of the underlying economy, and Hong Kong hasn't been doing too well. So but we could see Samsonite on another stock exchange and we could buy shares there if we wanted.
I guess you'd probably be kind of stoked if you've got them currently, because if they're on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange and not doing very well, and the point of moving them to a new one is so that they can like grow and get, surely that's a good thing if you currently own them, because they'll probably go up in value, right?
Yes.
I mean, I know nothing's guaranteed, but it sounds as though you're probably in a good position if you already own them.
Yeah, it's like New Zealand companies that they might be global companies or they might be growing globally, and they're like, you know what, we're now going to list on the NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange. It's like, oh, you're going to have a whole lot of interest from American investors now that you probably didn't have before because they might not have been able to invest in New Zealand, but now they can because that New Zealand company is on the New York Stock Exchange. So it's like, it does create just more awareness and more interest and therefore more demand and increased share price, hopefully.
This has been such a stock-focused Curve Weekly, and I'm definitely not mad about it. But did you do that on purpose because of the Curve Classroom? Or is that just what's been happening? Because if you did, I'm really impressed. That was quite clever.
Yeah.
Well done. Nice.
No, I think last week's was quite non-stock focused, so I just like mixing it up. It depends what's in the news, to be honest. There's a bit going on. You
never really know what you're going to get, do you?
No, yes. Yeah, it's like a box of chocolates.
Hey,
life is like a box of...
I was trying to save you from saying that and you kept going.
Yeah. I know.
Hey, I hope you have the best time in Spain. I speak on behalf of the entire Curve community that I would like photographic or video evidence of how the surprise goes down, and particularly if it's bad. I want to see.
I know. Imagine.
I don't think it will be, but I just think someone has got to film it and we've got to watch that. But have the best time. But if
you're filming, isn't it obvious if I like turn up?
No, okay, I know what needs to happen. Someone there needs to film. You need to get someone that's there to film on your behalf. Pretend they're on the phone or filming something or whatever, and you've got to be in comms with that person. So you're like, be there in 10 and then they're on hand. Not you. You turning up with a camera would be lame.
Yeah.
Don't you feel pressure? I feel so much pressure from surprises. That's why I like avoiding them.
Same.
Like, because I'm like, imagine if you get there and they're like, it's cool.
Or they're just like a bit like, I actually, didn't want you here. No, my brother-in-law is always like, your family is so weird how you and your sister just love surprises. Like, we're always like,
does she too?
Instead of instead of giving Dad his present, why don't we surprise him with it? You know? And it's like, oh,
Do
why don't
you
just
like
give it
being
to him? Or like,
surprised?
not really. No.
I was like, surprise, I'm coming to Spain.
yeah. I'm like, no. No, I do. I don't know. I love them. I love surprises.
Oh my God, you're so funny. Okay, have the best time. Thanks for doing the curve weekly.
Okay. Thanks for looking after me.
Bye. Oh, yeah, send me instructions so she's still alive on Monday. Okay, bye. Love you.